I found a photo of me asleep on my couch. It was under my doormat and smelled like wet paper. The TV in the picture showed 3:12 a.m. I stood in the hall with my keys in my hand and my face went hot. I live alone. I don't have a camera. I don't take pictures when I pass out on the couch. The photo was glossy and new. The corner scraped my thumb. Inside, the couch was there. Same blanket, same dumb throw pillow with the stain. I put the photo on the counter and just stood. My mouth felt dry. I poured a drink. It tasted like nothing. I looked at the door. The chain hung loose. I didn't remember leaving it like that. I told myself I had. I always told myself I had. That night, I dumped my pockets on the table. Bottle caps rolled out. I drank cheap stuff with caps, not Pop-Tops. I had a habit of flicking them into a bowl. The bowl was there. The caps weren't in it. They were lined up on the shelf. 10 of them, edge to edge, in a neat little row. I stared at them. I didn't remember doing that. I got a headache. I put them back in the bowl. I told myself it was me. I woke up to a new voicemail. The time said 3:12 a.m. I hit play. I heard breathing. Not loud, just too close. Like the phone was against someone's mouth. No words. I hung up. I laughed at myself in the dark and then I didn't. My heart was stupid in my chest. I drink. I know I drink. I have been to meetings on and off. I ran out of excuses and went back that week. Church basement. Coffee in the big silver pot. A guy talked about the same exact night over and over until it was like a record skipping. I got a white plastic chip. I put it in my pocket with my keys. A tall man sat across from me. Dark hoodie. His face was blank. He didn't share. His leg bounced the whole time. When I left, I saw him on the corner by the bus stop staring at the church door. He didn't go inside. I told myself people are allowed to stand. It still felt like when you know a car is following you but you keep telling yourself it isn't. I tried to sober up. I did the petty things they tell you. Water next to the bed. Brush your teeth. Write stuff down. I put a dusting of flour on my entry mat, like a joke trap from a movie. I tied a string to the closet knob and taped it to the wall at knee height. If someone opened it, the tape would pull loose and I'd see. I told a cop because I thought I should. I went down to the precinct with the photo. He looked at it and nodded and didn't take it. He asked if I had a boyfriend or girlfriend. I said no. He asked if I give keys out. I said no. He looked at the bottle caps part like it was nothing. He warned me about wasting time. He told me to get a camera from the hardware store. He told me not to drink so much. I walked home and didn't look behind me the whole time, which made it worse. The second night, more breathing at 3:12. The same minute, my phone lit the room and died. My hangover came on like a truck. The bathroom smelled like bleach. I don't buy bleach. I felt stupid crouching down to sniff the tub. I wiped the rim with toilet paper and looked at it. Clean. Too clean. The shower curtain was drawn. I never close it. I opened it and felt a little ashamed, like I was scared of a curtain. The tub was dry. I pulled the tape on the closet string to check it. The tape was hanging loose. I stared. I hadn't opened the closet. I said that out loud to nobody. The hair on my arms stood up in one stupid little wave. Inside the closet, my coat was pushed to one side. That's all. I aired it out like that would do anything. When I left for work, I peeped into the hallway. The peephole was dark. I looked close. It was covered with a piece of black tape on the outside. A neat circle. I peeled it off and held it. My hands shook. I stuck it to my wallet so I could show someone later. I put the chain on and went to the kitchen and tried to do dishes. I put 3 bottle caps in the bowl. I turned around and made coffee. When I turned back, the caps were in a straight line again. 10 of them. I stood there, counting. I don't even know where the extra ones came from. At lunch, I took the bus. The bus ran along the street with those big windows that turn everything into a mirror when it's bright outside. I sat by the window and watched my own dumb face in the glass. Behind me, in the reflection, I saw him. The tall guy from AA. Dark hoodie. He was 3 seats back. He didn't look at me. He looked down. In the glass, he looked like a shadow. I turned around to check. All I saw was the top of a head. Might have been him, might not. My mouth went dry again. I got off early and walked the long way. I kept thinking about my front door and how thin it really was. That night, I put flour on the mat again, a little ridge right up to the door. I lined the caps myself, but in a sloppy zigzag that made no pattern. I took a picture. I tested the chain. I checked the deadbolt. The metal around the bolt had little scratches now, like someone's key kept missing. I touched them. Rough. My finger came away gray. I tried to stay awake. I put on a loud movie. I made coffee I didn't want. At some point, the movie was over and the screen was blue. I don't even remember closing my eyes. I jerked awake at 4 a.m. I felt something like a draft. I looked at the door. The chain was swinging slow, tapping the wood with this dumb, hollow sound, like a spoon in a cup. Tick, tick, tick. The deadbolt was still turned. I moved and it stopped tapping. I pushed my ear to the door. Nothing. My phone buzzed. 3:12 a.m. Voicemail. I didn't listen. In the morning, there were faint, wet footprints from the hall to the bathroom. I stepped over them. Bare feet. Longer than mine. The flour by the mat showed a smear like someone had brushed a hand across it to erase. My closet string was on the floor. I went to the sink and drank from the tap. The water tasted metal. I threw up. When I went back to the couch, my white AA chip wasn't on the table where I'd left it. I tore up my bag and my pockets. It was gone. I hadn't even earned a new color yet, and it was gone. I called the cop again. He said, "Sir, the lock is intact, right?" I said yes. He said, "We can come by, but unless there's a break-in or an assault, you need to talk to your landlord." I said there were footprints. He said, "In your apartment?" I said yes. He asked if I could take a picture. I did. When I sent it, it looked like nothing. The wet was already drying. "We'll make a note," he said. He didn't ask my address again because he already had it. I went to work and lasted 2 hours. I kept pulling my phone out and checking the time like that would scare it away. I went outside and smoked, even though I don't smoke. The tall guy from AA stood across the street from my building after I got home. He was half behind the tree like a kid. He pretended to look at his own phone. I stared at him and he bent to tie his shoe for a long time. I went inside with my key between my fingers with the teeth out like I'd read online. The peephole was taped again when I looked out from inside. My hands shook so bad I had to sit down. I didn't drink. I wanted to. I chewed ice. At 10 p.m., I set up the traps again. Flour. String. I put a chair under the doorknob like in a hotel. I pushed the couch against the door for good measure. It made me feel stupid. I put my friend's big camping flashlight on the coffee table within reach. I kept the kitchen light on and the bathroom light off. I left the shower curtain open. I said that out loud. "I'm leaving you open." No one answered. I woke up with the flashlight on my chest and the room dark. Everything was dark. The kitchen light was out. The chair had been moved aside. The couch had moved back a few inches like someone shoved it with their knee. The bathroom light glowed under the door. My heart did that thing like it was climbing a ladder too fast. My phone buzzed in my hand. 3:12 a.m. I put it to my ear. Breathing. Slow. Male. It held so steady I could hear moisture. No words. I hung up and my thumb wouldn't stay off the screen. I called 911 with it. My voice sounded small. They told me a car was coming. I believed them. I also knew how long it can take. I didn't want to go to the bathroom, but I went. I had to. That's where the light was. I kept the flashlight low and I held it wrong, like a club. The door was cracked. The bleach smell hit me again, stronger this time. Like someone had wiped everything in there. The shower curtain was closed. It had been open. I could see the shadow of the rod. No movement. I wanted to back away and I didn't. The chain on the front door tapped twice, like something had nudged it. Tick, tick. I turned and my foot slipped in flour. The flour was smeared in an arc. A shoe scuff had cut it. Not mine. A floorboard creaked behind me. Right behind me. Not on TV. Not in my head. I flipped the bathroom light on and looked in the mirror, because that's where you look before you do anything. He was there behind me. Close. Hoodie up. Face pale and flat. His eyes were set deep and he didn't blink. His breath hit the side of my neck and felt cold even though it shouldn't. The shower curtain moved at the same time, just a little, like someone brushed it. That made no sense. It moved anyway. He hit me in the ribs with his shoulder and we crashed into the sink. The soap dish flew. His hand came around and there was a knife. A kitchen one. Not even mine. The edge nicked my shirt and then my skin and it stung. I grabbed his wrist without thinking and he was stronger than me. He didn't make a sound. No yelling. Just that breath coming and going hard like he'd run. The knife scraped tile. I bit his hand because it was there and my jaw hurt like hell. He flinched and I shoved my back into him and we staggered out of the bathroom. My shoulder hit the door frame. The chain on the front door swung and tapped again, faster now. He tried to turn me to face him. He wanted my throat. I saw it plain. I dropped the flashlight and went dead weight, and we both fell. The knife skittered under the couch. He lunged for it and his hoodie hood fell back a little. I saw the side of his face finally. It was the AA guy. Clean shaved. He had a small scar by his ear. That detail sticks. He looked at me like I'd done something to him. Not mad, just sure. I didn't yell anything. I tried, and it came out like air. I scrambled and hit the chain with my fist and opened the door with my foot. I put all my weight on the bolt and twisted it. The door jumped and the chain caught my chest and hurt my collarbone. He grabbed my ankle and squeezed. I kicked at his wrist. I hit knucklebone and he let go. I slid into the hall on my hands and knees. I yelled, "Help! Help!" It sounded stupid even to me. A door down the hall flew open and a big guy in boxers came out, blinking. "Hey," he said, like it hurt to talk. Behind him, a woman said, "What is it?" The guy saw my face and my shirt, and his eyes changed. He came forward. The man in the hoodie was in my house still, in the dim. He bent and grabbed something from under the couch. He saw the neighbor and turned, like an animal, without showing his teeth. He pushed the door with the flat of his hand, and it slammed on the chain and bit the frame. The chain held. He didn't try again. He went the other way. He ran into the bedroom. My neighbor reached for the chain. "You want me to?" he said. "No," I said. "No." My voice cracked. "He has a knife." The neighbor stepped back. The woman was calling someone. The hall smelled like someone's dinner and my own sweat. I kept my eyes on the top of my door. I listened for steps. I heard the window in my bedroom make that cheap scrape sound when it opens. I heard something heavy drop on the alley side. Then nothing. Just my own breath and pan down the hall. It took the cops too long, which is how it is. They came in, guns out, lights slicing up my stuff. There was a little blood, not much, on the bathroom tile where he'd cut me and where I'd bit him. There were prints, they said, and then they said maybe not because of the bleach. They asked me the same questions in 3 ways. I told them about the AA guy. I didn't know his name. I told them about the voicemails. They asked to see my phone. I handed it over, and they scrolled, bored, and then they made that noise like maybe they cared now. Every night, 3:12 a.m., a tight little list. They told me to stay with a friend. I said I didn't have one to stay with. The neighbor couple let me sit in their kitchen while the cops did dust and talk. The big guy gave me a shirt. His wife made tea and put honey in it without asking. I sat on a chair and got smaller and smaller. When I went back, the door frame had a new metal plate. The landlord put it in the next day like that made it all over. I slept with the door barricaded for a week. I nailed the closet shut. It didn't feel like my place. My white chip showed up on my pillow on a Tuesday. I had washed the pillowcase. The chip was in the middle like an eye. It wasn't wet. It was just there. I held it and felt sick. I checked the locks. The deadbolt had new scuffs again, little half moons. The peephole was taped from the outside. The tape was a different color. I changed my phone number. I got a new cheap phone from the corner store and a new number and a new little case. The first night with it, at 3:12 a.m., it buzzed. I hadn't given the number to anyone yet. I stared at the screen until it went dark. I pressed play. Breathing. Right up against the mic. Steady. Patient. I don't line things up. I don't. I don't like neat rows. Every morning after that, my bottle caps sat in a straight line on the shelf. 10 of them. Edge to edge. Perfect. Like a little fence. I put them back in the bowl. They came back out. I moved out 2 months later. I still take the bus. I still check the window like it's a mirror, and I will catch him right there behind me. I still smell bleach sometimes for no reason. I don't drink now. I wish that was the lesson. It isn't. I keep the chain on every place I live, and I listen for it. The tap. The little tap on the wood at 3:12. The breath in my ear that isn't there. The neat little row I never touched. Has done. Don't just sit there. Subscribe. Hit like. That's how you show me you're still out there. Do it now, before the next story starts without you. See you in the next one.